Your baby is not growing. Your baby have growth restriction, and she's not growing in your womb. So expect for her to pass away in your womb. These are the dates, of when you can have an abortion, and abortion was off the table for us. I asked, like, is there any stories where babies do make it? And she was like, there are few far and in between. So that wasn't even like the option for us.
Wow.
So that was a 20-week appointment.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's Octavia, the Surrender Gem, and I am your host for Heart Sleep Podcast. I'm super excited. I'm so excited, you guys. I have some guests here today that are just amazing. Their testimony is powerful. They've gone through some things, they're living some things, and they are just going to talk to us about perseverance and trusting in God. And I am here for it. Okay. So get ready, get your popcorn, get your whatever you need, get your little beverage, get you some coffee, whatever you got to get your stuff so you can hear this episode. Okay. I'm really hoping too that you have listened to the previous episodes that have come out this season. And if you have extra time, go ahead and watch season 1 as well. Really, really, really know that it is going to bless you. You will enjoy it. So lock in, twin. Okay. Anywho, let's get right into it. Today I have a couple joining me. And so we're going to talk to them about how they met. We're going to talk to them about what that journey's been like. And I cannot wait to hear it. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Ron and Sheree Jackson. Hey.
Hey,
How y'all doing?
pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah.
day
How
today.
hmm
Yes, yes. We had quite the journey getting here today, It was something.
It was.
Whoa.
But we made it. We made it. The devil is alive. Okay. So we just want to bless God that we're here. I want to just give you space to share anything about yourself that you feel you want the people to know. Anything about, what you do for work, who you are, anything at all. Go ahead.
Go ahead, huh? No. Well, um, yeah, amen, Sheronnie. Here, I actually want to talk.
So let's see. I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio, and
Okay.
Ron is originally from,
Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay,
and
Cleveland.
and I moved here to Cleveland in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I have like a host of siblings, and then Ron, how many siblings do you have?
15 brothers and 16 sisters. No, just joking. It's just myself.
Ron. I was like, what?
Yes. So you got me coming from a host of siblings, and then him coming from just him, just no siblings. And
Well, we totally different. Um, different cities, of course. Different
Mm-hmm.
backgrounds from growing up. Of course, you heard all that. I'm just going over it again.
Mm-hmm.
Different careers, uh, different fears, different.
yeah,
Everything's different.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
definitely.
yeah,
Yes, yeah. And different is good. They often say that opposites attract. So that's what's up. I'm here for that too. And I know I did mean to mention before when I was introducing you all, this episode is super special and unique. You've already heard Sheronnie, who is their daughter in the background. And this episode is unique because Sheronnie is a part of this episode. A lot of what we discussed today is going to be about her. And so I'm so excited about that. So you might see a couple breaks, they might have to go be parents, but we gonna let that happen because we want to see them taking care of the baby. Okay. So I did want to say that, but stick around because there is a reason why you're hearing Sheronnie, and we are so blessed to be hearing her in the background. So I want to start off with how you two met. We talked a little bit about you're from Columbus, I think you said, and did you say Columbus? Yeah, and you're from Cleveland, Ron. So talk to us about this drive that y'all had to take and just, how you met before the drive and all that stuff. Tell us about that.
So I was just pretty much at home, playing around on my computer on, I don't know if it's still around. It's called POF.
What's POF stand for?
It's Plenty of Fish, a dating website.
Yeah. It's a
You
day
know,
where hey, that's where I met my husband, so go
Oh,
ahead.
okay, okay, all right. So,
Yeah.
so I you just so I was like, well, you can go on there and adjust the distance on a computer to where you how far you want to go. I think I just put like 150-mile radius, and pretty much you popped up on the mile radius and the other options you have, and I just shot a message and responded back in like a week or something.
yeah. Well, he was actually really we had a few messages exchanged, and then I told him, I said, "You know what? I've been on this dating site for a while, and I'm about to get off of here." And he said, "You can relax now. I'm here. So go ahead, get off." I was like, "What?" I'm like, "What do you think he is? What is he?" So, I was interacting with him in a smart manner, and I that's what he said attracted him because he was like, "What?" Like, "Okay, Imma get through this,
Mhm.
smartness and,
Straighten her out.
yeah, straighten me out." And
I
so,
cannot.
yeah, it took me a few days to respond to him, but I responded and, um
Yeah, so she
And then y'all
responded.
started driving.
right.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, we started driving, and, it was like, what, once a week or once every 2 weeks, like, off and on, just depends on our life, so we could do it, and, after that,
We was getting rentals. We was getting well, I started getting rentals from Enterprise, and they had,
Mhm.
like, a weekend deal where you
Mhm.
can get it on a Friday through Monday for, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it was, like, $30 or something like that. It was really, really
Mhm.
expensive. And so, we did that a while, and so we would visit each other, like, every few weeks. The
Yeah.
longest we ever been apart was a month,
Wow.
and,
well, I wasn't really getting rentals, I was driving my Toyota out there. I put a lot of miles in that car,
and still got it to this day.
yeah, yeah, and she don't
Oh,
like it.
that's awesome. Hey, that's a good car right there.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yep, yep, and,
So all this traveling was happening. At what point did we take it to the next level?
So
what? Okay, go ahead.
I thought that I was his girlfriend, like, in March 2017, but this is what he said helped me out with being his girlfriend.
Going to, Myrtle Beach, went to Myrtle Beach, and, well, nobody never took me on no trip, not besides family, so I said, "Well, I'm stuck. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. Take care of the baby
Nope,
real
you're fine.
quick."
Yeah, so you thought you were the girlfriend and realized that y'all was talking, but y'all wasn't talking yet.
Mhm.
Okay.
'Cause we was talking so often, like, we just had this connection, like, this strong connection where we went to sleep talking to each other, we talked to each other
Mhm.
throughout the day, so we just had a really strong connection.
And
So
Ron
that's
Ron
my
said it wasn't official yet, huh?
thought.
I was I was nervous myself, so I was in a long, rough relationship, so I was just really wasn't in a rush. So
Yeah. Yeah, you was just seeing what you was seeing.
right. Yep.
But then
Uh,
y'all went to Myrtle Beach.
yeah, we went to Myrtle Beach as friends,
Okay,
and
proceed.
we had a great time, and, I really appreciate it. Yep.
And so y'all went as friends and you came back as what?
A couple.
So so
Okay, a couple.
so at some point, he said that we became together after that point, and so I would say for about another year, just drove back and forth to see each other.
Oh, yeah, so then we was always together, but her apartment, you know how this rent is, these apartments, they was raising the rent and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like, well, come here, it'd be a better financial move for her. So we collaborated together and been together ever since.
Yeah, but,
Okay.
yeah, but
That's
what
cool.
okay, so in 2017, like March of 2017, that's when we went on our first vacation, and
Mhm.
I helped sponsor the vacation, and I do not mind saying that because it helped me
Mhm.
in the long run. Um,
Mhm.
but, so he never had a woman to take him on a vacation, and,
Yeah.
I did that. So,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, I appreciate it.
and so then
Yeah.
um, we talked about, like, having, like, a career, what we wanted to do to further our careers. Um,
Mhm.
I had a certain degree at the time, a bachelor's degree, and I wanted to get my master's degree. And then he had a few different things.
I was working on, but I had to uh, just go over the road truck driving to get my experience so I can start the company I have now.
Nice.
That's where we were apart for the longest.
But what happened was April 15th of 2018. What did you do?
When I came back, I proposed months later after I came back. Right?
Month.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it was months.
Yes, yes, yes.
Like 3 months.
Yeah, it was.
So you
I had to,
came back, go ahead.
yeah, so I had to come back and I had to, find the ring. I had to ask her dad and everything. It takes time, you know.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm glad you straightened that out, Rod. I'm glad you it took time because he was putting things in order.
Right. You
And
got
we
to make things in
we
order.
like order.
Right.
Yeah.
Do it the right
Okay.
way.
I'll take that, Sheree. I'll take
Okay,
that.
okay. Um, and so, yeah, so April 15th, 2018, he proposed. And so he proposed, but he did not, give me a date. And so
Mhm.
when he didn't give me a date, as months went by, I'm like, when are we gonna get married? And so
Mhm.
finally, a few months later, finally I just flat out asked him, like, when are we gonna get married? And he said that he was gonna pick the date and I picked the year. And so what date did you pick and why?
Yeah, actually, I ended up picking August 17th, and that's my birthday. And I was joking, but I was
Nice.
serious, and she was with it. So I said, "All right, well, you with it, go for it." But I didn't think she was
That's
gonna
dope.
move that quick. I just with the year part, I thought it was gonna have a little bit more time, but she had it in order, and everything was good. So
Yes. Hey, ain't no need to wait. You know what I'm
no need to
Right,
wait.
saying?
right.
So you all got married. What year did you get married?
We got married in 2019.
2019. Okay. So
And
you came
so
up in 2018.
yes.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
so,
Okay.
because I moved here, I figured the wedding needed to be in Columbus, Ohio. So planning and everything, and the wedding and the reception was in Columbus, Ohio. Um,
Mhm.
and then after that, we went on a nice honeymoon, and I wanted to have a baby, to get our family started. And what would you do?
I'm not in a rush to have no baby right now. Just hold up. That's it.
Yeah.
Hold
He
up.
said, "Hold up
Well,
now."
my clock is ticking. I think she's like, what, 33 or 34 at the time
No,
or
I
something?
was like 35 at the time, I think.
I
So,
think it's
Mhm.
35.
So you said it was about time.
yeah, I was thinking it's about time. I want 6 kids. Let's get it
How
going.
many? 6 kids. Woo!
But, I think at least 1 kid.
Right, right.
And so,
Ron.
so the wedding, we took about I really didn't ask him for a year.
Mhm.
But in the midst of that time frame, I had 2 dads. And one of my dad, he ended up getting sick. And
Mm.
so in like June of 2020, he was on hospice and we were visiting him at the house. And it was hard to hear what he was saying. But
Mhm.
we was about to pull off and one of my siblings ran out and got me. And I came
Mm.
inside and the only thing that I could make out is strong. He was a person that oh my goodness, was so happy for us to get married. He was the
Yeah.
person that would pick with Ron and be like, "Sheree, he ain't smiling in these pictures. What is going on?"
Mhm.
But, he really, took a liking to Ron. So, the only thing I can make out was strong, and that strong word became really important a little later on. And so, um, and then I have another dad, he remained hopeful that both of them was hopeful that we'll have kids.
Yeah.
But when my biological dad passed away, I'm like,
Mm.
okay, well, he's not going to be able to, see my future, um,
Mhm.
which was devastating. But at the end of 2020, we started trying for a baby. He said yes. His mom was asking him, and I was asking him, and he said yes. And mhm. But one thing I do wanna say, just definitely to give glory to God, is that it was prophesied that I would be a mother, a natural mother,
Mhm.
and that I also would be a mother figure to people. And so I already was experiencing other people calling me their mom or their aunt.
Mhm.
And so I would just kinda, like, wonder, like, when is it gonna be my turn to have my
Yeah.
Um, in the early part of 2021, we contacted, the fertility clinic just to see, what was going on and why, um, it was a struggle to conceive.
Yeah.
And I did tests and Ron did a test, and, we looked at the cost of everything and pretty expensive. So, Ron said, "We're just gonna wait for a while." So I was like, "Okay." And, so we waited. We waited.
Not that long, so to go 2 months or something,
No.
you back with hey!
Well, we waited on, like, the IVF part, but, um, but there was so many people in my life that was saying, "You're gonna have a kid one day, remain hopeful, remain prayerful."
Yeah.
And one of my best friends in Kentucky, she, had a women's conference, and I wanted to be at that women's conference so bad. Later, I found out she said she had, um went before prayer before me to conceive, and that was,
Mhm.
like, one of the major things at the women's conference. But I was in Columbus, Ohio, like, in November towards the middle of November of 2021, and,
Mhm.
I was like, "Something just don't seem right." I was visiting family, and,
Mhm.
my adopted dad, it was a birthday party for him, and,
Oh.
after the birthday party, I went to the grocery store and picked up a pregnancy test. And so, I went and, took the pregnancy test at my birth family's house,
Mhm.
and, I called Ron, and I had the pregnancy test in my head, but I didn't tell nobody what it said. And I
Mhm.
called Ron and I said, "Ron, what is this?" And holding up a pregnancy stick, and he was like, "What?" I was like, he was like, I'm like, "What does this say? Like, it's got 2 lines. What does the line say?" And he didn't believe that it was pregnant. It was positive. And my birth mom was screaming, and 2 of my sisters was like, "Oh my god."
Mhm.
And so, Ron, what did you tell me? Do you
I
remember
said,
what you tell
"Yeah,
me?
yeah," I did. I said, and you got exactly what I said, but it was like a dream. I didn't believe it, and everybody was saying, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Her sisters and, her mom was all, excited, of course.
Mhm.
Ended up being true, and everything was, shocking.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause what I recall is him saying that you need to get proof of that. You need to go to the doctor, and you need to get proof.
Okay,
And we
blood work. That's what I was
yes,
talking about,
yes,
blood work.
blood
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
not believing it
yeah.
until he got blood work. And then his mom
Oh.
called me on the phone, like, after we got off the phone with him, like, shortly afterwards, and she was like, "Congratulations." And I was like, if he didn't believe that I was pregnant, then why would he call his mama and tell her that? And I'm like, "Ah," 'cause he knew it was
Well, I just
Mhm.
told her the thing her thing was about the not blood
Oh,
work part and
oh,
that like that,
okay.
and I was taking a nap. I was sleeping real good. It woke me up, you know? So I was kinda half asleep and took it in probably I might have called her maybe like an hour later and then told her. So
Nice.
Yeah.
So you all are on this journey of pregnancy, and here is the baby that you are going to birth. You said that everyone would always tell you you would have a baby naturally, and so finally your dream is beginning to come true. Tell me about this journey that you all began on.
So Ron and I, we got the results. I think it was like December the 13th, I believe. We got the
Mhm.
results. I know we took the test, and then like at the end of December, we got the results for the gender.
Mm.
Kept saying, "It's gonna be a boy. It's gonna be a boy." So many people thought that it was gonna be a boy. I just didn't care. I just wanted
Mhm.
to be a mother, and I just wanted my baby to be healthy. I didn't care.
Mhm.
Didn't think about anything else, but I just wanted a healthy baby.
Mhm.
And so, when we got the gender, I went to the doctor's office to pick up the envelope, and I
Yeah.
came home, and we got our favorite thing to eat is, like, pizza. So we got pizza. That like, a few days before that, um, he began to change what he said about the gender, 'cause he stuck to, "Oh, it's gonna be a boy. It's gonna be a boy."
Mhm.
And so he began to talk to some of his friends that got daughters, and some of his friends were saying, like, the benefits of having a daughter. And
Aw.
he began to change. his dialogue, his what he thought. He began to say, "Okay,
Mhm.
it was a girl, it'd be okay." And so when we opened up the envelope and it revealed a girl,
Aw.
I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I just, one thing I said was, "I believe that this girl is coming to teach us something." Lo and
Mm.
behold, I had no idea, I had no idea, um, that, like, that was a matter of fact, for real. Like, I
Yes, for
knew,
sure.
I had adopted mom, had a birth mom, and so just different things with, like, mother situations that so I was like, "Okay, my daughter is coming to teach me something,"
Yeah,
and then for him, I'm like, she's gonna show us something. And,
yeah,
then we, created a virtual, um, gender reveal.
that's awesome.
And so, in, like, early January, we had the virtual gender reveal, and everybody was so excited. We had 2 parts. We had a painting part where certain people came, and then we had a part where we opened it up to a lot, and it was, like 10 people at the painting event, and then,
Mhm.
like, I don't know, like, 40, maybe 40 or 30 people, on the virtual to hear, like, what the baby's gonna be.
Yeah.
And Ron, his silly self, he had a little, streamer thingy, confetti, and then
Mhm.
he said it was a boy, and everybody's like, "Yay!" And then he popped some more confetti and was like, "Yeah, it's a girl." It didn't take us long to come up with her name.
Yeah, we came up with her name in 5 minutes. Probably less than that. I was like, that's how quick we came up with it. So, my name is Ronnie, that's my nickname. Mm. But, yeah, her name's Sheree, so that's how we came up with the Sheronnie. Both our names, collaborated together for that, and, some people we had a little backlash about it. "Oh, you should do that, that don't sound right." That's her name, that's it. I don't wanna hear all that, you know?
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And,
Aw.
her middle name is, Miracle, and that's because of
Mm.
the, whole story, and we have her other middle name is
That's a story for another day too. Um,
go ahead.
yeah. Um, and so, so I'm sitting there, always wanting to be a mom. So I'm looking up so many things, and so many friends and families is looking up different things for me as far as like a baby shower and
Mhm.
oh my goodness,
Yeah, so we had, like, 3 baby showers, right? Because we had one in Columbus and one here, and then
yeah.
That's
so
amazing.
So me and mom, we went to a place to do a 3D ultrasound. So we was excited about that. Um,
Mhm.
and he was just moving like looked like a little shrimp, just moving and moving, and
Yeah.
it was really, really good, and everything was good on that scan with her ultrasound. And then I'm sitting there looking at half baked. So you 20 weeks pregnant. That's like the major appointment. And so I was looking at the pictures that I was going to do after my major appointment, and pictures I was going to post on social media, and lo and behold, I was given a song. Like a song was dropped in my spirit, literally on my 20-week appointment. And it was a gospel song. It was like an old time gospel song. I can't even think of the name
Mhm.
of it. And so I was like, okay, I just felt a little something that day,
Mhm.
earlier. And so we went to the appointment, him and I, and the ultrasound tech, was looking at the baby and doing the measurements. And she brought somebody else to come and look at the
Okay.
scan. And I knew then that something was going on.
Yeah.
So that other person looked at the scan, left out the room, and then that person came back by herself, not with the ultrasound tech, and said, "Prepare yourself. You're going to speak to someone, and it's not good news."
Mm.
And so we said, "Okay." And we like, "What?" Well, we don't what? Like,
Yeah.
and so we were guided. Ron and I was guided into a room, just him and I. And we waited for this person to come in the room. And when she came in the room, she told us that, on your scan, your baby is not growing. Your baby have growth restriction, and she's not growing in your womb. So expect for her to pass away in your womb. I'm sorry.
Wow.
These are the dates. of when you can have an abortion, and abortion was off the table for us.
Wow.
But, that was it, like, we weren't given I asked, like, "Is there any stories where babies do make it?" And she was like, "There are few far and in between," so, like, that wasn't even, like, the option for us. So, that was a 20-week appointment, and so we told families, we told friends, and one of my sisters named Loretta, she was like, "No, Sheronnie's gonna be a bumblebee.
Mm.
She's going to be a bumblebee." So, she's been assigned the bumblebee and has definitely lived it out. But, um,
But
um,
even with the 20-week appointment, her, heart rate was always good.
yeah,
Her heart, that's a real, real big factor of living, so that
Yeah.
really gave me hope as well, and,
yeah. And her, her kicks was forceful. Like, you couldn't tell that she was a small baby in my womb. I would drive and be
Mm.
like, "Oh, hold on, like, I'm about to pull over and stop because you are kicking me." But she was always, down below, opposed to being up, and so I knew
Okay.
and yeah, and I knew, like, over time that my belly wasn't getting big, and I'm like
Mhm.
I knew, like, something wasn't right.
Yeah.
So, um I went to the hospital each week to get a heartbeat check and also to get my blood pressure checked. And every
Wow.
time, like Ron said, every time her heart rate was always good. And so I was
Yeah.
just trying to fathom in my mind, and definitely in the midst of all of this, one of my sisters that stay in Philadelphia, she invited me to her church. Prior
Okay.
to that, it was a while that I was not in church. And so when she heard of what was going on, she like, "No, you gotta get back, get your walk with God. You gotta
Wow.
do this, and you gotta speak life into your baby. You gotta." And so,
Mm.
a lot of family just did not let us sit, and she's not gonna make
Wow.
it. They was like, "No, what does the word say? Speak life." And
That's
what is,
good.
and so,
Yeah.
yeah, what
and so
talk of
we
the
did that.
town, Matthew, what,
I'm not sure.
but yeah.
You
Yeah.
better say that scripture. Yeah. In Matthew, we do know that. Bless
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
And so we had a 24-week appointment. We got a second opinion.
Yeah.
And at the 24-week appointment, um, things just wasn't looking good. They still like Sheronnie was just moving all different places, and heart rate was still good. But they still said the same thing to us. Expect her to pass away in
Mm.
the womb, and she's not gonna make it. And I would say it was at that time that I was like, I was trusting God, but then
Yeah.
at that time I was like having that second opinion from a total different hospital, like not even the same hospital in that same just a total different brand of a hospital to say
Right.
that same thing.
The same thing.
And
Yeah.
so it was just him and I, and we was, escorted in a room by ourselves, and I he just held me as I just cried, and I
Wow.
began to just accept it. I began
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, you did exactly. You were just like, "Alright," and,
yeah. Mhm.
it was sad, and it's a big turnaround.
Yeah.
Um,
How are you feeling in that moment, Ron?
I was hurt. I was in shock too, cause all the praying and all the running around and everything we're going through just didn't seem fair.
Mhm.
That was at Hillcrest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I that same day, I got scan I got 3D scans of her face.
Mm.
And I just couldn't fathom, like, is this really what's gonna happen? So then I began to like
Wow.
analyze. I sent out a message to family and friends and I said, Sheronnie's gonna pass away in my womb. It could be in
Mm.
the next day, it could be in the next hour, it could be in the next minute. I don't know. As much as my family was sending me back messages like, no, we're not gonna believe that. No, we're not gonna receive that. But for me, being the one that like is happening in my body. And I'm just like, Lord, but you promised me a baby. You promised me my own child.
Yeah.
And so I had to push through them saying that she wasn't gonna make it to believing that she was gonna make it.
Mm.
And so um 24-week appointment. Okay.
Um,
You're pushing through? Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, we pushed through, and Actually, what ended up happening was, I was given a dream, and Ron was given
Mm.
a dream.
Wow.
And in one of my dreams, Sheronnie, I had to wait a few days to see her. And in another dream, Ron was late to the delivery. And
That ended up being real. I was late because I had left. I was
yeah.
there all day and trying to prep her and get her ready, and I left to come home for a minute to get a couple items to bring back for us, and I was like, "Well, I'm taking me a nap for a minute," and then as soon as as soon as I literally come in and lay down, she calls, "Hey, you gotta get back." I'm like, "Oh, no." So I didn't gather all the items at the time. Like I said, I went to lay down, so I gathered items and then ran down there as soon as possible. And as soon as I came and got in the room, she was like literally just it was like actually perfect timing because she was coming out. She was crying. I heard her cry. She didn't
Oh,
didn't need a trach or none of that then. It was like, well, the reason why that happens because she ended up, having some issues.
What can you share your dream though?
Oh, my dream before all that was, standing, over an incubator and looking at her and saw that she was alright, and that was my dream
nice.
happening for real.
Yeah. So,
So I went that far ahead because it just made me think about all that.
oh,
So
okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Hey, I'm Kia, Minister Kiki, aka the Sis Star. But above all, I am a daughter of the King. And I want to tell y'all about my Sis Star, the Surrendered Gem Octavia. I was blessed. I was blessed to be a part of the Gem Method course. In this course, this is where iron sharpens iron. Real women, raw women. Real healing, real accountability, real kingdom sisterhood. We pray together. We pour into each other. We grow together. And baby, when I say we pull up for one another, we literally pull up. And in this gym method course, we have a workbook. I love this workbook. It allows you to do soul work. It promotes growth. So if you're ready to step into your God-given purpose boldly without shrinking back, then I encourage you, become a gem. And with that being said, let's get back to the podcast.
but I do want to say before the delivery, I would say this was like week 25. I was at
Mhm.
week 25, and I was admitted into the hospital. And
Yeah.
a lady, came into the room, and, I was in, like, I wanna say triage, and a lady came into the room, a doctor, and said, "She's not gonna make it. I don't know
Mm.
what were you expecting? Do you have
Mhm.
family that can come and sit with you?" And at the time, I was with, like, a doula company,
Mhm.
to, like, help me, help us with the pregnancy,
yeah,
and
she was very, very helpful to do the lady.
yeah, and so
Definitely.
my assigned doula wasn't able to come, but they did send someone else to come, and we never seen her, but we talked to her. She couldn't come up. Because only
Mm.
one person was able to come up to be with me, until we got admitted, but we got admitted
Mm.
later, and at that time, it was already 2 o'clock in the morning, but she stayed there.
Mm.
The person stayed there in the lobby, and then when we
Wow.
got admitted, she talked to us on the phone and actually gave her testimony of something that her mom went through with her and how her mom
Wow.
kept faith, and so keep believing and just it's okay, and so
Mm.
I was like, "Okay." But yeah, that doctor said it was just me at the time waiting on Ron to come in the room, and she was like, "I don't know what were you expecting?" And I said, "I was
Mm.
expecting for my child to be able to get some more time in my womb to grow." And she was like, "I'm sorry, but, your baby's not gonna make it. We're gonna deliver her today or tomorrow, and I'm sorry." And so I called a few people, and they began to pray, and
Wow.
blood pressure, ended up going down. We got admitted into the hospital and spoke to the doula. And so then my assigned doula, she had at some point she was trying to advocate for me to talk to the NICU. The
Mhm.
NICU would not even talk to me at first because we weren't qualified.
Mm.
Our baby wasn't qualified for the NICU because they're like, your baby is not big enough. And so I could say the size of Sheronnie at the time was like 300 grams. So that's already at 30 already at 25 weeks, she was not a pound. So the day that I was admitted, I would say about 8 o'clock in the morning, Shawnee began
Mhm.
to kick and kick and kick me. And just, I don't know, I kind of felt like she was telling me, like, I'm here. I'm going to live. I'm going to listen to God. Like, listen to what, the messages, listen to. And so I didn't have to deliver her at 10 a.m. doctors came and was like, "You're good to stay here, or you can go home."
Mm,
And so, and then they brought a representative from the NICU to
mm,
come and talk to me. Um, there was, somebody else that came in the room and was like, "Are you pregnant? Oh, you don't look pregnant." So it was like at the minute
mm.
talking to the person in the NICU, somebody come and say that, and so I'm feeling like, okay,
Mm.
like,
You know, I want to interject too because something you said that was so powerful is I'm here. I'm here. Sheronnie letting you know I'm here. But I also hear God telling you I'm here. You're having a dream. Ron's having a dream. The baby's kicking. They're telling you your baby's not going to make it, not going to make it. And time again, your baby's making it. They're saying, no, you can't talk to this person, yet you end up talking to this person. I mean, having a doula who is a product of a mother who had struggles having her. That's, I mean, it's just God's hand all throughout,
yeah,
all throughout. And so I just hear not just your daughter saying, I'm here, but God saying, I'm here with her. And I think that's powerful. That's powerful. And so you end up delivering your baby, and Ron has shared with us, you know, the dreams that you both had have come true. And he's standing over the incubator and he's looking at your daughter. Tell me a little bit about the journey after your daughter was born.
okay,
Well, after she was born, we were living at the hospital for a few weeks, all three of us. Then eventually we branched off and went home, and we were back and forth to the hospital, um, dealing with surgeries. First surgery was great.
yeah. But I wanna say before she had the surgery,
Well, she had MRSA.
yeah, so she had MRSA 2 times, 2 times.
Okay.
So it was 2 times of having 21 days of being on a strong antibiotic.
Mm,
And we were at one point behind a curtain watching our little 2, 3 month, maybe 3 or 4-month-old baby
mm,
being pried and pried and pried with needles to see if she had they also did like a spinal tap, to see
mm.
if she had I wanna say meningitis.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it came back negative for that.
Wow.
Yes, so I would say from April well, she was born April 15th of 2022, and up
15th?
until no, 2022,
No, you said April what day?
14th.
14.
14th. I wanna go back for a second. How big was she when she was born?
Yes. So she was
420 grams.
420 grams.
Yeah, bare minimum
And
just to come
wow,
out to get the
The
tube.
2.
So
wow,
that's another example. Everything we try to do, it's like we barely make it. Like, perfect example. We just
wow.
coming here today. We
Yeah,
barely
it
made it. Had
is,
to go through a lot of hurdles,
but we make
but
it
we make it.
But
through
you
God,
make it.
But we make it.
through God,
Through
through
God.
his strength, for real,
Woo! Y'all better
for real.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Um,
That lead you know, and this is a pod for a different day, but that just leaves me that begs the question, why? What glory is meant to come from your story? You, your wife, your child. Why do you just seem to make it? I think that's worth pondering on. I would ask God that question. I would
and that
definitely
is
ask
what
God that
I
question.
Yeah, I've done so
me
already.
too. That is what we definitely been asking.
We actually chatting too,
Um
trying to come up with
Yeah,
reasons.
like, just kinda like the Job story, like, or maybe, friends are saying, like, "Did you do something wrong? Did you" maybe and so we thought maybe, did we do something wrong? Or did we one thing that I did read in the Bible is that children are rewarded from heaven.
They are.
So,
And the Job story ends
like
with the lesson being God is God and he has his reasons. And it's not necessarily a reason that we can make sense of.
yeah,
Just trust that he's God and there's a reason, and his reason is all that matters. There's something meant to come from your story, but we going to get to that a different day because y'all get me excited. I mean, so much y'all
okay.
have said already. I'm just like, oh, this is a sermon. Um
Right.
okay, but anyway,
Um,
so she
but
comes out at right at the limit of being able to be put in the tube. And so this is the ultimate reason as to why she has to be in the hospital is because she's so small.
Right.
yeah, yep, because she was
Okay.
400 grams, so small, and her skin was like translucent, so like you can see her through her skin.
See through
Her
it.
ears
Wow.
wasn't really like they were folded in, they wasn't really hardly developed. Like her hands kind of were like wedges, and
Mm.
toes was like hardly developed, but over time, and that's the thing, over time, God allowed us to see her to grow, allowed us to
Mm.
see her ears expand, her feet become forming like, real feet and real
And then you
hands
hear
and
a lot of negative talk too there. Come well, she's not gonna be able to hear because her ears are so
yeah,
small. So when they every time they came to do the hearing test, they always were saying they couldn't really get nothing. She was failing the test 'cause her ears was too small.
Mhm.
I was integrating to them like just give it time, let her ears get bigger. She'd be able to hear. 'Cause
Yeah, that's hard. That's
yeah.
hard. That's a good point.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so the hearing and then the eyes, like with her, there was a certain amount of time where she was on a lot of oxygen support, so that
Yeah.
pressure, could affect the eyes, could affect the ears. And
Mm.
so, I wanna kinda go back into, like, with her having MRSA 2 times, and then she was, like, in an enclosed room where, like, there wasn't a window. Ron advocated
Mm.
for us to get a room with a window. So
Yes.
in the NICU, Sheronnie was, like, in 4 different rooms, and so,
Wow.
um yeah, and so it came to the
Yes, come
point
through advocates.
where
Come
where
through.
so it came to the point, from her being born in April up until August, where it's
Mhm.
like, okay, she's still on the breathing support. She has a breathing tube down her throat. So you know how
Mhm.
other babies are able to really like grow, develop, play with things. She spent that time from April to September just breathing, just trying to
Wow.
breathe. And sometimes it would be like, Lord, this is just the very thing that what you do is to help us to just breathe, and
Mm.
so there's a message in that. Yeah,
Yes. The
so
blessing it is to just breathe.
yes.
Wow.
So
Mm.
in August, at some point in August, we were, sat down and we had a big meeting with, it was like maybe 15 people, if
Mhm.
if not more, or maybe a little less. And so they had to talk with us about her getting a tracheostomy. And then
Mhm.
her also, because at the time to get her nutrition, she had an NG tube through her nose, which, went to her belly. And so,
Mhm.
they said, we wanna get her a G tube so that she can move around and be able to play freely, and so, but they were really scared. They were really scared
Mm.
to give her a trach, because she definitely was on the severity side of having chronic lung disease. And
Mm.
so, we had this meeting, and it's also just through it all, just trusting God. We would go
Yeah.
on meetings, and we would go, different places with smiles. I mean, we actually had fun with the nurses. We
Yeah.
developed relationships with, some of the staff members, and they definitely in the NICU definitely helped us to advocate for Sheronnie. Yes, we had the trach meeting, and then she ended up, and then a few days before she had the trach, we got her baptized. One of the people that was so instrumental in helping us with being in the hospital was the palliative care at the hospital. And it was different staff members on that team that would just help us to like understand like what was going on, what medicine was going on.
Yeah.
And at first I did think it was like end of life care, but it turned out to be helping more too with quality of care. Um,
Wow.
and so, um,
Yeah.
and so Sharani ended up getting, um, a trach. Oh, no, but she had a baptism. Yes, and the palliative
Mhm.
care team put on the baptism.
That's
So
so
at this
beautiful.
yes, and at this point, with it being COVID, it was only like, a lot of people wasn't able to come. Just one person
Mhm.
we was able to have on the list to come. And then
Yeah.
again for her baptism, we had some of my family members that came. Yeah, and one person was, and I'm just gonna say this, one person was, my dad, he attended virtually, and,
Mm.
yeah, I didn't know, I wish that he was able to attend in person.
Mhm.
I did not, it was just not enough room, and so, yes, we had the baptism, and then a few days later, she got the trach.
Mm.
A week after that, she struggled. She struggled through because she got the trach, her body was paralyzed, um
Mm.
and then when they began to take off the paralytic, she struggled. It was rough. It was rough. They had this vest on her that some nurses was saying they're trying some extreme measures because they don't usually do this in the NICU.
Mm,
And so a week later, after her trach, the hospital was advising hospice.
mm.
So an apostle at a church we was attending prayed, and he said, in 24 hours, changes are going to occur.
Wow.
And we believed in 24 hours, changes occurred. Carbon dioxide in her body started to go down, and just she went from an isolate to a crib. And just from that point, we began to see an incline of amazing progress. But that still was a lot. So in total, Johnny's stay at the hospital was 712 days.
That's a long time. That's a
So
long
she,
time. How many
yeah,
how many years is that?
that's about
So
yeah, she came home
Just
on
under 2?
yeah,
just under
just under
two.
two.
Mhm.
And so yeah, so when she came home, it took some time adjusting. Do you want to talk about maneuvering life at home?
Yeah, that was real rough. So yeah, first step to getting her home, we left. They were supposed to supply us with a car seat, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
And they were supposed
we
to
had
come downstairs to make sure you have a car seat. That's that's supposed to be the rule or whatever. They didn't do none of that. But we thank God we were able to provide our own car seat. And Ronnie actually loved to ride. She liked to drive in a car. So she enjoyed her ride home and got her home.
Nice.
And we got her we arrived home. We had like a lot of foot traffic attack us at home. Like you have therapies, you got the medical equipment company here, you have
so yeah, so we had a nurse. So it was a nursing company that the nurse was through, and then a care coordinator through that. Then we had a respiratory specialist through her ventilator
mhm,
company. I mean, through her
right, the medical
Yeah.
company.
medical company that supplied her ventilators.
Right.
So
Mhm.
we had
Equipment
that.
company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we had that. We had different doctor's appointments that she had to do the first week of her being home. So we had then also like a few weeks of her being home, then we got contacted with PT, OT, speech that want to come out to the house. So
Yeah.
they came out to the house, helped me grow, but it was hard.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
All
DODD.
the folks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all the
Yeah.
folks, all the
all the
people.
folks,
Uh,
all the folks.
Everybody came over.
So, so we had them for a year. I would say we had them for
Mhm.
about a year. They all came out.
mhm.
Um, and
Yeah, I wasn't happy with all that. All those people
Yeah.
got to come. It was just
It's a lot. It's overwhelming.
it is.
mm,
Yep. Yep.
And it feels like there's not a lot of privacy. So I can't imagine, just how many hours you spent opening the door, letting someone else in, letting someone
Mhm.
out, letting someone else in. But I hope, at some point over time you got to a norm or some type of routine that even though it wasn't fully normal, it was something that was finally in place where Sheronnie's home, she's feeling at home, you all are feeling at home, and that kind of leveled out a little bit as much as it could because she needs the providers that she needs. And I know we're at about an hour, so we're going to work towards wrapping this up, but I do want to talk about she came home after how many days? 712 days.
yes, hmm
And then she went back. How many days did she go back?
she
Well,
went back.
oh, 60 days. Just last time right now.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, she just went back for 60 days because she had RSV and we just had a whole lot of flashbacks and we was
Yeah,
it
it's
was
scary.
scary but easier to handle because we had the experience but under the 2 years
Mm,
in there. So we knew the ropes. So that was a big help. The battle we had there, they do a good job there, just having to tell them frequently to wear gloves and masks. And it seemed like they were
mm,
that, so that kind of stress you out a little bit,
yeah,
especially when you
trying to
leave.
protect your child. Yeah.
Uh, and
And did you want to briefly share just a few things that were kind of different from this time that you went through versus the last time?
yeah.
yeah, what was definitely different this time, like I said, with the experience, we knew how to jump in and help medical staff, and as well, we knew how to advocate with going over nurses' heads. At first, we just talked to them, and then sometimes something get done, something won't get done. So we talked to higher ups and get things done. So basically, we got her out of there faster, and we was able to get her out of there just better And we had the church come up and they prayed over her, and that was a big factor. And
Yeah.
what else? Go ahead.
So for
You
me,
wait.
so
I
for
can just
me,
say.
yeah, 'cause so for me, it was something definitely different. From my perspective, I kept saying, Lord, in like October of last year, like, Lord, we're barely making it. We're barely making
Mhm.
it. What is it about our family that's barely making it? And also, what is it about me, Lord, that I'm barely making it in a relationship?
Mm.
So, we joined
Wow.
yeah, we joined a church, because I had joined a church virtually, and I love that church. I actually learned a lot, but I wanted us to go as a family. I wanted us to
Yeah.
be in person and go as a family, and but also, at that time, I see videos about the gemstone,
Mm.
and, in December, and so basically, we joined a church that I feel like I feel like he was led to that church.
Yeah.
I had a prior relationship to the pastor. And
Nice.
so, it just it made sense. Made sense.
Yeah.
And so, we were going to church, we're taking Sheronnie to church, and we are, maneuvering life. We are going on trips. We are, and so in like March of this year,
Yeah.
um, is when I had joined Gemstone. And
Yeah.
what I had learned is a daily surrender. I wasn't daily surrendering to God. I wasn't daily surrendering.
Wow.
And for 2 weeks, I began to just daily, not even just for, I would say for 3 weeks,
Mhm.
daily surrender. And I wasn't going through anything. And
Yeah.
so but the thing that I just kept saying, like in October, where I don't want to come to you in emergency. I want to already be
Mm.
at your feet and not just coming to you when I need you because
That's
I need
good.
you every day, not just
Yeah.
in the event of an emergency.
Yeah.
And so that was one piece that was different. And then also definitely having church support. The 4th week in March is when Sheronnie literally had got sick with RSV, and
Okay.
it like it was so different because we're thinking like, and I'm not saying that she wasn't healing because she is healing and was healing and is
Yeah.
healing. However, having a child with complex needs,
Mm.
needing a trach. At that time, at the beginning of March, she was sprinting off the ventilator.
Yeah.
So she went from needing ventilator support 24/7 hours a day, having a G tube, being fed through that G tube 20
Yeah.
hours a day. It was a lot. But
Yeah.
And she recovering. She's gonna be back at
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I say
Yeah.
at least the next
yeah.
30 to 60 days, she should be
Yeah.
back where she need to be.
She will, but she will,
Yeah,
however,
go ahead.
she will be back at some point at her baseline. And, completely at one day I hope that she will. However, her lungs, it went back to, reverted back to when she first started out.
Yeah.
When I say, when I say that Sheronnie's body kind of reverted when she, like RSV hit her body so bad, it hit her body so bad
Mhm.
that she had to be paralyzed again. So then it was,
Yeah.
Lord, we're in this situation again. What is it, Lord, that you want us to see? What is it that you want
Mm.
us to know? What is it that you want us to learn, or what is it that you want us to share with other people? Um,
Yeah.
and so, and then also for me, what's different is I know the numbers. I can, look at the ventilator and look at the screen
Mm.
heart rate and look at the carbon dioxide and look at the respiratory rate. And so,
Yeah. So you know if it's good and you know if it's not where it
yeah,
needs to be.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
so
then
there
especially
was,
when they come in the room, because you might have some uh, therapists with not that much experience. You have to kind of help them out on what to do.
Yeah, that's a lot to have happen. And, it's almost like we just don't have time for the fullness of this story. And I have been just been able to see a glimpse. I know I've not even been able to see really just everything that you all have gone through, but I've been long on this journey for a short period of time, and she's fine. She can holler. We want to hear her hollering. We want to hear her playing. We want to hear her doing everything, because I know during that time of you being in the gym method, we were praying, we were talking, we were meeting, and you were giving us updates, and we don't have to go into detail, but things got real dim for a while, and really required a lot of prayer, a lot of fasting, a lot of faith. I recently heard from a pastor, Minister Kia's pastor, actually, the first lady of the house. She said, we often talk about faith the size of a mustard seed, and we often talk about, people only needing that faith the size of a mustard seed. But what people don't look at is the attributes of a mustard seed. And it starts out small, but it has to continue to grow and to grow and to grow, and it expands larger than what we realize. And that's what I see in you all's story, and that's what I see in you, is that faith is there, but you have to water it. You have to continue to let it grow. The faith doesn't stop at that little mustard seed. The faith has to expand. And you all, time and time again, have faced so many things with Sheronnie that faith has been tested, and it has to grow. And you had to make a decision. Will you believe? Will you believe even when they're saying, hey, she's not going to make it through the night? Hey, she's not going to make it in the next minute. Hey, she might not make it out this surgery. You have to choose what you're going to believe. And so before we wrap up, Ron, you got to go to church recently. You've had the 60 days in the hospital, and you're home and you went to church. Tell me about that.
So, yeah, I went to church and everybody was concerned about Sheronnie, wanted to know if prayers were answered. And I told them she were home, and we got the music turned up, and everybody was,
Hey.
yeah. Pastor called me up there, and he was, "Hey, hallelujah, I'm hallelujah." We was dancing, and I was just in shock. I was in shock. I ended up sitting in his seat. He said, "Hey, you can't sit in my seat," and he was just laughing, and it was just a real great experience, and I could tell they really genuine care about Sheronnie and family, and that
That's
really
awesome.
warmed my heart, and I really appreciate everything that they have done.
Yeah. I appreciate everything they've done on your behalf. And um, as you all might be able to see, I think I'm echoing through somebody's mic, but as you all can probably see, Ron is, he's a very chill person. He's a very chill person. And so from what I've heard is that when you go to church, you're typically quiet in the background, right? You're not up in the front, doing all the things that some people might be doing. But this day, you had to come out of pocket, for God. You had to get up there and you had to testify because God came through once again for your daughter and for you. I think that's absolutely beautiful. So to wrap this up, what I would like for you all to share with us is you all have experienced the goodness and the glory of God. You've had Sheronnie Miracle Jackson. I know she got some other names up in there, but we gonna go with Sheronnie Miracle. Okay. Um, and what a miracle she is. So you've experienced the goodness of God, but you're still living this testimony out. So what would you say to folks that are watching this that might be experiencing their own version of something like this, or someone who needs to know what the next could look like? What would you say to them?
I would tell them to definitely have faith, listen to your heart, and I will also say, do not listen to people when they tell you, "Oh, I wouldn't put a baby through all that." So I was hearing things like that. 'Cause
Mm,
so you just gotta go off on what you feel out your heart.
God is telling
And
you.
God's put into your heart, you have to follow that. And
yeah.
that's advice I can come up with because that's what we did, and it works for us. So,
Amen.
amen.
Sheree, anything you want to say?
Yeah, I would say that a situation can look like death, sound like death, feel like death, but doesn't mean that it's going to result in death.
Wow.
Trusting God. And also too, there is an unfortunate part where some things do, like some babies do not make it.
Yeah.
And there's some times where you can trust God, and it does not go the way you want it to go, the way you
Yeah.
envision it to go. the way you
Mhm.
thought it would go. But just
Mhm.
through it all, just trusting God and just letting him know, like, Lord, it's your will. It's your will, not mine.
Yeah.
And that's tough.
It's
It's
your
tough
will,
to
not
accept.
mine.
It's tough to sometimes it can be tough to say sometimes, but
Yeah.
just that is, what we are to do though, as being Christian.
Mm.
So trusting that and leaning not to your own understanding and in all your ways
Mm.
acknowledging God for keeping direct your path. And
Okay,
it
so you go quote the book.
right, right. And it might not be the path you want, but you gotta trust him because God sees the whole picture, not just
Mm.
the picture. So
That's
that's
so good.
yes.
That's beautiful. That's a perfect way. I just want to thank you both for being here. I know Ron been on Sheronnie duty. You even know what we could see you, Ron. But it's okay because I get it. I get it. Kids will be kids, but listen, I can say I am so overjoyed to hear her in the background. And I'm overjoyed to hear her in the background at your house.
Yes.
So I'm so grateful that you both are here. And the pod might look a little different this time, but that's okay. That's okay because these are the realities that people need to see, and these are the realities that people need to hear. You're still walking this testimony out, but your miracle is right at home. And as I listen to your story, I hear God all throughout it. And I don't know the ultimate lesson he's wanting you all to see or what he's trying to show you or what he's about to do. But I can definitely say with confidence that one of the things I believe he's saying is, I am here. I am here. No matter what is happening, I am here. So we're going to wrap up. But the final thing I wanted to say is, I don't know if y'all want to mention it or not, but I thought, there might be a couple things coming out of this situation, like some written, some help for
Yeah,
others.
yes,
I
yes.
don't,
There's
I
a
don't know.
book coming. There's a
Okay.
book coming. Yes. And when that book title is able to be released, everyone will be like, "Oh wow, yeah."
Yes.
It's so yeah, the book is coming. Also during the second admission of Sheronnie being in hospital, we had is birthing, we seen the need of what families need, such as parking passes,
Mm,
such as food vouchers. And like even just something like a little gift card. So that
yeah.
will be in the works of creating a Sheronnie Foundation.
Mm. I love it. A
God's
strong
here is
and miracle
uh,
working foundation.
uh,
Hallelujah. That's good. That's beautiful. Please keep us updated on that. Be sure to come back to this episode repeatedly so that when those things are updated, we can post that information below in the comments. We
Yeah.
might have to do an updated pod. And we might have to and see where y'all at. This was wonderful. Thank you both for being here. Thank you both for, sticking to it. And no matter what happened on today, you still pushed through. And we got this episode, and it is going to help others. It is going to bless. So thank you so much. Thank you all that watched today and that listen. Keep your prayers going up for Miss Sheronnie. And be sure, as I've said to the parents, to come back to this episode and get updates for the foundation, the book, and just the story of this miracle unfolding before their eyes. That's the episode for today. Thank you all. Love you so much. Bye.